my name is Dilan. I'm coming from KTH Event Agency. Today I'm here to have an interview with you regarding to the entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs in Turkey. So here's my first question. First of all, what do you think about the ambience of the event, and can you tell us a little bit of your opinions about Startup Turkey?
The thing that strikes you when I came here, the thing that struck me when I came here, there's a huge amount of energy. Yeah. So for example, when they had the speed networking thing, you know, there's tremendous buzz and excitement. And I think that to me is the overwhelming thing here, is just how much energy, how much enthusiasm, how much excitement there is. So I think it's a great event. I mean, I think it's, you know, it's very well organized, and I think that it's, you know, this is kind of what we want to see in Turkey. We, you know, build that excitement, build that enthusiasm, and let's get some really good products out of it.
And so, as you can remember in the event that all of the investors has been mentioned about that Turkey become a country of opportunities to invest. Well, what do you think about that? I mean, why did Turkey become a country of opportunities, in your opinion?
Because Turkey is a country of opportunity, because if you look across the whole of Europe, try and find any other economy in Europe that's actually growing at any rate, and the answer is there aren't any. I mean, essentially, Turkey is the, if you look at, even if you look in fact at the OECD, look at not just in Europe, look at countries across the world. You know, Turkey is one of the few economies that's actually doing really well. So if you're an investor, you know, where are you going to put your money? You want to put your money in an economy that is growing. Well, that's why Turkey has become, you know, very attractive. The other reason that Turkey has become attractive is Turkey has always, throughout all of Turkey's history, has this this role that Turkey acts as a bridge between Europe on the one hand, and then the Middle East and the Central Asian republics. That's always been Turkey's role in history. And you know, that's what people are looking for here.
Yeah, the geographical opportunity.
Exactly.
Is very,
yeah, it's a bridge into other areas as well. So it's a very exciting economy in its own right, but it's also a bridge into other economies.
So let's move on to the entrepreneurs. So when you compare other entrepreneurs over the world, what are the pros and cons of Turkish?
That's a good question. One of the things that strikes me here in Turkey, and I don't mean this in a rude way, is the ecosystem here is not as developed as it is in some of the countries, particularly of Northern Europe. So we're seeing a lot of, when we had the pitches, I saw a lot of e-commerce sites and a lot of game sites. That's the sort of thing we saw probably a few years ago. If you look in Germany, for example, 3-4 years ago, you know, you saw exactly that sort of thing there. A lot of e-commerce sites, a lot of clones, a lot of copycat sites. That's not necessarily a bad thing. If you want to build an internet economy, you've got to start somewhere. So if you take something that you know, take a product, you know, a business model that you know works, and then do that in, you know, use that as your starting point, well, that's not a bad idea. But I think Turkey is a little bit behind other countries.
Yeah, but actually, on the other hand, the clones of the e-commerce websites actually raises the opportunity of competition.
Totally, absolutely. And like I say, you have to start somewhere. You know, you've got to build your economy from somewhere. Well, so why not? You know, the clone thing, people get very worked up about it. Sometimes I think it's a bit like going to Honda and saying, oh, well, you know, Honda, your cars, you're just a clone of Toyota. Well, actually, you're not. And, you know, Turkish e-commerce sites will be different to German e-commerce sites, and they'll be different to French e-commerce sites. What I haven't seen, I have seen, but not as much, is really innovative and exciting and new ideas. I have seen some, and some of them were fantastic. Just now, in fact, an e-commerce site, I was just doing an interview now, targeting targeting Muslim women who want to dress conservatively but don't want to dress in traditional clothing. I don't know anyone else who's doing that. That seems to me a fantastic opportunity.
Thank you very much. And I this is your second visit to Turkey?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, and as far as I remember, you came to Turkey again after 6 months.
Yeah, I was here, yeah.
Yeah, do you see any differences on the perspective of entrepreneurs?
In 6 months, the market has moved on. I mean, we've had, the 212 Venture Capital Fund that's now set up. We're seeing a lot more attraction for, VC firms are starting to come here rather more. 6 months. 6 months isn't a long time, but I mean, what we have had is a couple of big exits, and I think that is a really important thing. I think exits are incredibly important because it does two things. It says to investors, actually, I can get my money back, and not get my money back, I can make a profit. And it says to entrepreneurs, it's a role model for entrepreneurs. They can say, look, these guys did it, that means I can do it. I think that's really important. I think having people who have been successful stimulates the whole ecosystem gets stimulated by that. So to me, that I think is probably the biggest difference.
Yeah. So in your first visit, as far as I remember, you went to Özyeğin University.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Özyeğin, yeah.
So, as we know, it is a university that really encourages its students for being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So, what are your opinions about it in terms of entrepreneurship? Are they being successful?
That I couldn't comment on because I don't know. But I think it's a great idea. I think the idea behind it is a fantastic idea. A lot of people have this idea that entrepreneurs are born. It's part of your DNA, and I don't think that's true. I'm not saying everybody could be an entrepreneur because not everyone can be, but there's an awful lot about being an entrepreneur that you can teach. And I think this is a fantastic idea of a university that says, even if you're reading, I don't know, dentistry, or you're training to be a pharmacologist or whatever it is, but saying actually you also have to do entrepreneurship, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm also coming from Özyeğin University.
Oh wow, there we go.
And our firm has been grown in the startup factory.
All right, okay, fantastic.
So, in my last question, do you have any advices for Turkish entrepreneurs? Like, what do they need to do to reach the success, or what should they be cautious about?
Turkey. When I did this trip around Europe, and I looked at 10 countries, of which Turkey was the second country that I came to. Turkey is in some ways is in the same place as, for example, the United Kingdom, Germany, and France, which is it has a very big domestic market. So you can build a really good-sized company, in Turkish, selling products to Turks. You're never going to be a huge company if you do that, but you can be a reasonable sized country. And I think that the one thing I would say is this is what we've seen a lot of, these e-commerce sites aiming at Turkey. If you really want to be, a big company, if you really have ambition, you cannot just serve the Turkish market. You've got to be a global market, you've got to think globally. A very small problem, or a small way of looking at this, is some of the names of Turkish companies. If you don't speak Turkish, they're actually quite difficult names. They're very long and they're really difficult to pronounce. I mean, Gidi Gidiyor, I've just got my head around that. That's okay, I can do that one. But the flour company that Amazon bought, I've been told this name 20 times and I can never remember the name of the company. So it's this idea of thinking not just about Turkey. Think about the rest of the world, and so that would be my one piece of advice, which is think bigger.
Yeah, they need to think global.
Think global. Maybe start with a clone. That's fine. Get your first clone, get it up and running, be successful, and then your second one. Think there's a whole world out there, and it's there for everyone to take.
Thank you very much.
Not at all. Not at all.